Hi, this is Dottie Kurego Achuru, coming to you from Talk to Dot, where my channel where I talk about domestic violence and exposing the narcissist and stuff like that. Today, I want to talk about something that everyone's talking about. Everyone's talking about it, so why not? The movie Straw. And please don't call me a spoiler. They've been spoiling it on Facebook and everywhere. But I watched that movie, and there are two particular scenes that struck out, for me. And the scenes were when she went home and found that her things had been thrown out in the rain, and she stood in the rain and she was like, ah, she screamed. The other scene was at the bank when she realized that her baby was actually dead. Right? I'll tell you why that stood out for me, or maybe I'll tell you what the movie Straw means to me. People have said a whole lot of things. Straw is like feminism, Straw is putting down the black man, Straw is putting down the black woman, putting down the black single woman, Straw is this, is that, it's overrated. I'll tell you what I see in Straw. Straw is a lot of people's stories. Yeah, a lot of people have been through exactly. And Taraji just nailed it. She nailed that role. And I felt every single pain, every single thing that she went through. Now, what stood out for me in Straw was, I talk about domestic violence. Domestic violence is one of the leading things that leads to poverty, homelessness. So a lot of people women who have experienced domestic violence, most times the children are left with them, more like as a punishment. Yeah, you don't want to be with me, keep the children. They don't get any assistance financially, they don't get any assistance from, friends. Sometimes as well, society has this thing about single mothers. It's like they look down on you, they kind of ostracize you, so you don't get the support. Women generally, you can argue that get put down a lot. And imagine when you're a single mother. People don't see it as you did something great by escaping a life and death situation, a life-threatening situation by getting out of that relationship. People see that you failed, your marriage failed, your relationship failed. Oh, you're now a single mother. For me, that movie was showing how a person can go through a lot of things and have absolutely no one to help them. And that's where a lot of people, women especially, that are left with children after an abusive relationship, people forget that the person who has been abused for a long time, they need time to heal, they need time to recover, they need support. It's not just support of 1 week after you left or 1 month after you left. It's support for a long time. Trauma just doesn't disappear. People, when you talk about domestic violence, like a couple of months after you've left, years after you've left, they're like, oh, are you still on this topic? Are you still talking about that? Are you not over it now? Or over it yet? So this is the thing. People need a lot of, I thought someone was calling me. People need a lot of support for a long period of time. They don't get that. So yes, a lot of people have gone through exactly what that lady was trying to portray in the movie due to relationship situation. They didn't plan for it, they didn't ask for it, but they found themselves there. They were stuck with children and they had to do everything by themselves. You can't do a proper job because childcare is too expensive. You do a part-time job or some low level or low class job and it's not enough to pay for your source of living. You can afford your rent, your bills and all that stuff. You get no support from anybody. Some people can tell you, well, you chose that life, so deal with it. Without thinking, like, if I stayed there or if you stayed there, you would have been dead. I think people actually prefer that the person died so they can say, oh yeah, you died there. But when you even survive it, there's no encouragement. That's what that movie that stood out for me. The other thing, that was really the one that hit me, was the last bit where she found out her child was dead. Mental health. Something that is never, we don't give enough, thoughts and concern to mental health. We talk about mental health, mental health week, but I don't know if we really understand it. Have you noticed that a lot of times when someone tops themselves, literally says, okay, that's it, I'm ending it, people always say, oh my goodness, I never had any idea they were going through stuff. Oh, he should have spoken about it. Oh, she should have spoken about it. People can never understand why a person ended it because they never saw the signs. They never saw the signs. So, and that's how exactly what it is. People have learned to live with certain things, and they keep going, but they're dying inside, until they get to that point where they snap. And that's what that last bit of the movie was, when she found out that her child was dead, she snapped. You know, she snapped out of it, but she snapped when her child died. She didn't realize she had snapped, and she was living an illusion, a delusion. And that's the part that I want to key into. A lot of people, women who have gone through domestic violence, men, whatever, they have actually reached breaking point and snapped, and people are around them and they don't know. It is only until you do something drastic that people are like, what's going on there? Why are you acting like that? But they snapped a long time. You understand? They snapped a long time ago. The entire movie was about a woman who had snapped mentally, and nobody saw it. People shouted at her, people attacked her, people treated her like crap, literally, because she was poor. They didn't know she had snapped, They did. In fact, what's even interesting is that they didn't even see the signs. So basically, her child was dead, but she lived as though her child was alive. She still did school runs. She still talked to her child. She still acted like she was going to school, making sandwiches and all that stuff, receiving phone calls from the school. At no point did the woman in school say, well, I'll go. What are you doing here? Your child's dead, man. Can I call somebody, or call somebody on her behalf and say, yeah, this woman is acting a bit weird. She keeps coming here to talk about her child when her child is gone. Her friend I think her friend knew, didn't say nothing, was like, oh, yeah, we'll help you for your child. We'll help you sort things out. Her landlord should have known, because the baby never came home. And this woman kept doing the same things that she was doing all the time. This is mental health. There's a lot of people doing stuff, and there's people around them, seeing them doing that stuff. And it never occurs to them that, hang on a minute, something's not right here. Something is not right. You just think, oh yeah, whatever, they're fine. What's up? And this is the thing, mental health is a very delicate and a very fragile thing. Once it cracks, man, once it cracks, that's it. A lot of women who have been through domestic violence in that relationship, I don't have to tell you. There were loads of times when you literally, psychologically and emotionally cracked. Some people went as far as doing something that on a normal day they would never have done, because they cracked, they broke. Some people cannot understand how they managed to, at that point in time, to hold it together. Some people have left an abusive relationship, they're on their own, but they're still going through hell. In fact, they've cracked, but they're going to work, they're going to church, they're going shopping, they're doing everything like normal people, chatting with their friends. But inside what they're doing, there are signs that they've cracked, but people just don't see it. So as much as I say, learn the signs of domestic violence, learn the red flags, learn all of that. Also learn the signs of mental health, a mental breakdown. Because trust me, there's lots of people on social media, your neighbors, parents at school runs, moms, dads, they have gone past that point, they have broken, and they are just existing until one day, just like, and people are going to be like, okay. And it's always over a little thing. And you think, why are they reacting like this? They broke a long time ago. So ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't seen the movie, see it. It's very traumatic anyways. But learn about mental health as well. I know we learn about domestic violence and stuff like that. Learn about mental health. A lot of, I don't know the stats, but I can confidently tell you that a greater percentage of people that have gone through domestic violence and come out or in it have broken mentally, and they are just existing. They're like on autopilot. It's autopilot. They're just doing a routine, a schedule, because they've always done it all their life, and people around them can't see. The smile isn't real, the laughter isn't real. They just do what they have to do. But if you look well and if you look deep, you'll see it. And all it takes is for someone to just reach out for real, and say, hey, what's up? I see you. I see you. You understand? That's me, your girl, Dotty Girl Archery. If you've seen the movie, tell us how you feel about the movie. Tell us about your comments, and we'll catch up. The next video will be about depression, because I think we need to talk about that.